Hi Moya, how
Awesome.
you doing, sir?
Good. I'm doing awesome.
Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 2 Part 1 is currently airing on Netflix right now. I can't wait for Part 2. It's such a fantastic season. I got to congratulate you not just on Dino Fury, but you guys just won the GLAD Award, am I right?
You're absolutely correct. It was a huge honor to see that. We're scrolling through social media and we saw it and we're like, yes. And I think we're all hoping for it because we're really proud of what our show has been doing. And so it feels really good. It's an honor to be mentioned in that. So
Look, as a fan and also as a dad, I couldn't agree with you more. It was one that I watched with my young one, and we saw the episode, and it gave me chills because it's not something that I was used to growing up with Power Rangers. So that was an amazing feat in its own. But not only that, you guys are one of the longest running shows of all time. I believe it's like number 23 out of all of television history, which is quite an impressive feat. First question I have for you, man, is tell me what it's like to kind of like live this legacy of Power Rangers, because it's had quite a history before this Dino Fury season.
absolutely. I mean, overall, it's just amazing and so much fun. And I think at first, from how long has it been? 2 years ago almost, of finding out that we were cast was like, oh my goodness. And sometimes it's a lot of pressure because it has been something that's been going along for a very long time. And so you feel this pressure, but then, as we start to work on it and have our show be different from the rest, and we settled in and now it's just so good. Every day is a blessing, and just being a part of it is such an honor.
Absolutely. Now, what was your first introduction to Power Rangers, and what season made you discover the franchise?
Okay, so my first introduction was my uncle. He's still a Power Ranger fan today, actually. And so he used to watch it. I lived with him for a period of time. And so he used to watch, he was into SPD.
Yes.
When he was a young kid, he was watching that. And so I remember sitting down next to him and I was like, what is this? And it would be Power Rangers, SPD. I was like, oh yeah, this is great. So that was my first intro to Power Rangers.
Fantastic. Now, you played the character of Ollie. Ollie is mostly skeptical. I feel like in season 2, he's coming around a lot more. But what did you want to bring to the role of Ollie that wasn't necessarily on the page?
Well, honestly, at first, because he's doing a lot of development now. It's a whole season, and then now half of 2, and there's another half. At first, I was really nervous because at first I wasn't connecting, and I was like, oh man, like what am I gonna bring to this? I want to somehow bring myself into it, and I felt so different from him, and I was like, wow, this is gonna be a challenge. But as the development went on and I got more comfortable with him, I was like, okay, I see the little parallels, and I can actually relate to him a lot, actually, with his, he's a skeptical guy, and I can be like that too. And I'm not a science guy like him, but there's parallels of where I can use that and access my similarities to him and bring it in. So it was a challenge at first, but now it's just awesome. I'm so happy to be Ollie.
I love that. Now, look, you guys shot this in New Zealand, and mind you, this is in the midst of a global pandemic. Mm-hmm. However, New Zealand, for the most part, was relatively unaffected. I did hear that there was a little bit of a breakout in some of your co-stars' apartment that could have that they had to quarantine down for. But shooting, it's almost like a snapshot in terms of a pandemic. What did you learn about yourself shooting Power Rangers in a pandemic?
Oh, what did I learn about myself, man? I don't know what I learned about myself. I mean, it was so weird, I guess, being there at that time. Well, really good, but at the same time weird because, all of my family and stuff, they're back at home.
Sure.
United States. And so they're shut down. Everything's like crazy, everything's just locked up and nothing's happening. And I'm there and I'm like, oh, I mean, it's pretty normal life right now. And so we didn't really have to go through any crazy protocols, because 90% of the time they're filming, there were 0 cases.
Sure.
I mean, and those little outbreaks that you're talking about, it was literally like one.
You're right. It was
like one was there. They discovered it. Everyone locked down for about 3 days, eradicated it, and then it was just time to go. So as far as what I learned about myself was I guess I just learned that, I mean, I obviously know I love my job.
Right.
And I love being an actor. And that solidified it even more. I was like, I am so grateful and lucky to be working right now in a time where no one else was working.
Right.
What I learned was like, yeah, I really love this.
You know why? I just have to mention my little one, Mia. You're her favorite Ranger. So this is a question.
No.
You are her favorite Ranger. This is a question for her. She feels as if Ollie and Amelia have something brewing. She feels like there's some type of attraction. Do you think as a fan we would be able to see that played out in the second half of season 2?
No comment. I mean, whatever you guys think, we'll just have to see very, very soon. But you know, Ollie's coming around, right? And they're very different. They're very different. But Ollie's character development he's coming around. So you know, what seemed impossible at first might, you know, it could still be impossible.
Who knows? You know what? One thing I absolutely love about your cast, honestly, is that your chemistry. Your guys' cast chemistry is like no other. It's one of the best Power Ranger casts I've seen in quite a long time. How do you guys help develop that chemistry off camera?
No, we hate each other. No, I'm just joking. No, that is so true. You know, I mean, I think going into it, any production really, you can, you know, you get a little nervous because you're going in with strangers. You don't know them. You're all actors, but you come from different worlds, different places, different cultures, and you can be nervous about it because you do hear of casts that don't get along, you know? And so that was always a little worry, like, oh man, I hope we get along. And I think just from the start, there was a good bond there naturally. I mean, we traveled in a pandemic. Right. We traveled to a foreign country that was locked. Like we were had this special permission to come in, right? And so had this special bond of just going there and quarantining and then training and just getting to hang out in such a cool place. It was just, I think we just got really lucky. We didn't really have to do any extra things to help or bond. It was just there. That's
amazing. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you guys were there for the duration of your whole shoot. Unlike most seasons where they get a little time to come back to the United States, you guys did not have that luxury. So how do you deal with being months away and coping with the homesickness? Because that is quite a distance.
Yeah. You know, personally, I can't speak for anyone else, but for myself, I was totally okay with it. I've been away from home a good amount of times in my life now. And plus New Zealand, man, it's a special place in my heart. You know, I come from a Polynesian culture. I'm born and raised in Honolulu, Hawaii. And so going there New Zealand is more similar to what I'm used to than anywhere else in the United States. And we're part of America.
Sure.
So it's like, that's crazy. The foreign country felt more like home to me than any other part in the United States. So I was like, it was really hard to leave. I was okay. I was like, I get to explore this land, and that was great.
That's amazing, actually. I would have never put those comparisons together, being from Hawaii and then New Zealand. But yeah, that makes sense. They're both like island places.
Exactly.
Question now, let's talk about Ollie for a second, because I want to talk about the transition Ollie goes through from season 1 to season 2. Talk to me about the character development that we see in Ollie from season 1 to season 2.
I know you guys see it. I think we'll just bring up episode 1, season 1, for example. So who is this girl that just shot me with this net and she's into ghosts and hunting and get away from me, you know? From that and throughout season 1 and being a little a little snarky here and there with Amelia and the rest of the team and you guys are so not as smart as me, like hurry up, be faster, just learning to be more considerate. And I think that's starting to play out in season 2, not only being more open-minded, but also just being like, hey, like I might be really good at this thing. And my friends here, they might not be as quick as me when it comes to like this science and technology and things like that, but they're better than me in other things. Sure. And that's what he's learning now. And so he's definitely becoming a better young man for sure.
You know, I got to talk about Simon Bennett because he's done such a phenomenal job with Dino Fury. It's incredible. And not only that, the writing too. Like I as we were watching it together, me and the little one, I noticed like there's some fun humor in there where I turned my head and I was like, oh, that's a fun joke there. Like it's not something that I quite expected. So just talking about the collaboration process with Simon, can you talk about working with him as a collaborator?
My favorite person ever at this moment in time. It's been so good working with him, and he has always been open-minded and really good with my castmates and I, the writers, and all working together, and very considerate about our feelings and thoughts about storyline and a character. And so it's just been so easy. And he's been so supportive, and even during parts where maybe someone is struggling to grasp what's going on, he's always there to help, always. And so it's been awesome.
It's incredible. Now, the dust is finally settled. From what I heard at this point now, you've recorded your final bit of ADR for the show. Looking back now and reflecting upon your time as a Power Ranger, what do you think is your favorite episode? Maybe not due to the storyline, but due to circumstances that were happening, whether they be on set or going on around you.
My favorite episode. Ooh. Okay. I mean, the first episode, I'll say a different one, but the first episode is very, that one's really special to me. And that's just because we got to do a lot of my favorite things in that one, which fighting and then morphing, and like, it was crazy. You know, we were just surrounded by a bunch of henchmen and they're trying to stab us, and we're just doing all this stuff. So that one will always be up there, top 1 or 2. But I think getting more in there, my favorite episodes come in the second half of season 2.
Really?
Yeah. That's and obviously I can't really answer your question perfectly with that one, but that.
We'll say this. Up until we get the second half of season 2, your favorite episode up until that point is episode 1. For the memories you've had about working on that episode. Fantastic. Yes. I got to ask this question too. Who had the hardest time learning the morph?
Oh no. Okay, I'm sorry. When she hears this. She has a really good excuse. Okay, it was Tessa. But before we get all crazy here, she came in after us, and so she had a lot of pressure, and she had to learn it really fast.
Right.
But so actually, I guess technically she learned it the quickest, maybe. But It was just more like, you could tell she had to work really hard. I guess what you say, she had to work the hardest to get there. So It was like, that's what I'm talking about. But as far as that, no, everyone had it.
Who's the most accident prone on set? Because I've heard different people say different things. You were not one of them. You're not one of the names that have come up amongst your cast, but I have heard Hunter.
Who's the most wet? Who's the most wet?
The most accident prone.
Accident prone. Yeah, that's not me.
Hunter said it was her herself, but then Jordan also thinks it could have been him.
Jordan had some things that he had to do, like some stunt things and funny things that had to be thrown at him, which is funny, but that's part of it. So right. I think Hunter is right. I think Hunter's definitely the most accident prone. She bruises up easily, and if she took like a little fall here, it's like, oh, your knee's gonna turn purple, you know? So it's like, I think she's correct. I think most of us would probably agree.
Now, out of all the characters that are on the show, which one do you think closer aligns to your actual personality?
You know, if you asked me this at the beginning, I would have said, no way, Ollie. I would have been, nope, we're not the same at all. But now as Ollie is going more into season 2, we're actually quite similar. We're actually got a lot of parallels, as I said. And I think also part of Zato as well. Just not so much his like, oh my goodness, what's going on Earth? But like his he's kind of like, I guess you could say like a man of few words. I mean, he speaks a lot, but he's more like composed, and his emotions are a little more mature and subtle, and that's more how I am as a person.
Did working on Power Rangers, from when you get the job to actually being there and doing it, can you talk to me about expectation versus reality? Because if I'm not mistaken, you guys shot something like 3 episodes every week. It was quite an intense schedule, right?
Yeah, it was a very intense schedule. It's a really fast-paced show. So we really go 3, sometimes 4 in one block of shooting. So that's like 10 days. And so as far as expectation, luckily I knew some people that did the whole Power Ranger thing and went to New Zealand, and they were able to prepare me for what was to come. So as far as what I expected, I came in kind of knowing what the deal was, and it was going to be boom, 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 fast paced, let's go, and really tiring. And so I came in mentally prepared. So everything I expected it, and I was prepared. But it was like I said, I mean, I love the work though.
Sure.
Like it was never a problem, never a bad thing. It was always just, this is my favorite thing ever.
You know what? One thing I'll say about Power Rangers is it does not breed lazy actors, because you guys are put through the ringer at such a young age that I feel like it really helps develop work ethic in such a way that you don't really get that experience throughout any other show. Because if I'm not mistaken, you guys learn choreography, you guys are acting, you guys are doing ADR. It's literally like all the steps that you can do in this industry. So I feel that like that type of work ethic is instilled in you with a show like Power Rangers. Am I right?
You're so correct. It's everything. It's, you know, because you might enter a show that's like, okay, very drama heavy and everything is very text heavy and drama heavy, no action, right? Or you might have one that's a huge action film, not so much drama, not a lot of text, but a lot of action, right? This one, it's really everything.
Yeah.
There's the drama,
you guys have the comedy timing. Yeah.
Exactly. Comedic timing, some drama, action, ADR, it's everything. So everything you said is spot on.
It's incredible. Look, another question I have for you is, were you able to keep any props from set?
Yes. What did I keep? There was a couple things.
Did you get your suit?
I got my suit. I got my suit. Yes. So I got that, and also a Dino key. So
nice.
have some keys. Yeah. Which was what, if I could choose one thing, and I was like, oh man, it would have been the key, because that was like, it's such a cool little gadget. So like we have the one that really like flicks up and pops up. That's awesome. So yeah, the suit and the key, which is, I'd say, the most important things. So that was awesome.
That's so cool. Now, what can you tease? I know that you can't say much about season 2. I know that it's done, and I know Simon Bennett directed the last 2 episodes. But what can you tease about the remainder of season 2 of Power Rangers Dino Fury?
What can I tease? I'll say one word then, so I don't screw up. I'll just say one word to describe it: intense.
I like that word, intense. I've heard so many great words about the finale that you guys are doing in your season. It's been such a strong season. And the crazy thing is, it's on Netflix now. So that means that it's the storytelling is really continual rather than just so serialized. You know what I mean? Yes. Rather than how it is by itself. But like, what an amazing season it is so far. What does the benefits of Netflix bring to a show like Power Rangers?
I think just being able to watch more at once.
Sure.
Because I mean, just the fact that it's about 22 minutes, right? And when it was on Nickelodeon, it would end up being a half an hour with the commercials and stuff like that. And you could watch something and you can really have a really awesome episode that you loved and that really ended on this cliffhanger. And you're like, oh man, I gotta wait until Saturday next week, you know? And what if I miss it? What if I can't do it? Then what are you gonna do, right? But Netflix, it was awesome. They drop it in these blocks and you know, you keep on watching it. You can get more. You can get more at once. And if you want to watch it again, go ahead.
Now, you know, you talked earlier about other Rangers giving you advice prior to getting on the show. If you may, what word of advice rang throughout your whole time there from any past Ranger?
I'd say the best advice was, this is a funny one, but it's a really good advice, is sleep whenever you can. Really? That was given to me by Yoshi, actually.
Oh, I love Yoshi.
So he was like, just fine, any moment that you have, just get some shut-eye. And I was like, yeah, that's a really good piece of advice.
Has Power Rangers, working on a show like Power Rangers, inspired you to work in any other field of entertainment since you are doing so much on that show?
It has. Well, I always wanted to be pretty action focused, And so I think that just confirmed that that is my favorite thing to do. So I think that's definitely my end goal. I love everything. I would love to do it all, but if I could pick and choose everything about my career, definitely I would love to go down the action route.
Now, one thing that you guys didn't get the opportunity to do, mainly because we were in the midst of a global pandemic, was that kind of a cast passing of the torch, if you will. Every season usually gets their spot in Morphicon to be introduced by the prior season, and unfortunately, you guys didn't have that luxury. What are the chances that we could see you guys at this year's Morphicon in person with the fans live?
Well, the chances, shoot, I have no idea what the chances are. I bet I have no idea. Seriously, and I'm not even just saying that. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I've been, yeah, I don't know.
Where would you like to see Power Rangers go next?
As far, like, literally?
Yeah, because look, we're on the precipice of the 30th anniversary. I said, it's one of the 23 longest running shows of all time. Where would you like to see the future of Power Rangers go next?
Man, that's a hard question, man. I would like it to continue down the path that we are doing, because, you know, obviously we're a part of the franchise and there's been many Rangers in the past, but I think it's been pretty evident as far as like just seeing discussions online and the Power Ranger Nation on Twitter and things like that. And I think everyone sees a little difference in Dino Fury, you know, right. And I think that's pretty obvious with what's been going on with it. And I think what I want to see for the future with it is just to kind of continue down what we're paving.
Yeah.
I think with Simon had full power on this and took it, and I think he took it to the next level.
You know, look, as a fan, I know that it's a show for kids, 100%, but there's layers to this season where even if I'm watching it with a kid, I get enjoyment out of it. And mind you, the shock that I have that Power Rangers, especially your season, it's always been a decently progressive show. It's always been about inclusion. It's always been about, cleaning up the environment and about overcoming through teamwork. But even more so in your season, it really is about inclusion. It's really about acceptance. And the one thing that's cool about this is the relationship we see with the Rangers and their parents, because it's not necessarily all the time ideal. And there are barriers that these teenagers have to get through with their parents. If you had to express what Power Rangers means to you at this point now, since you've been on the show, what does Power Rangers mean to you?
Obviously, it holds an even just a very close place to my heart. And not only because of all the things in the show, but just also being I get to say that I'm a big part of the show, right? Along with all the other Rangers here. We're a big part of it, and it's forever something that I can forever, years and years down the line, I'll be able to say I was the part of that awesome, progressive, inclusive show that was making waves for the whole franchise and really started something. And I'm proud to say that.
And you should be. I mean, it's a great season, a phenomenal season. You guys got a GLAAD award, and you guys are breaking the mold that was already set before you 28 years ago or 29 years ago or whatever it was. So congratulations on that, Kai. Amazing job on this season, and continue to kill it in your career, my friend. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Take care.